refinancing again. Do you want to come up, Mr. Geddes?
While those are making the way around the table, I'll just try to give you a little bit of an overview. There's three transactions here that we wanted to talk to you about this evening. One is a refunding bond issue for the school district that will produce about $150,000 of savings in the budget you're working on. And then you may remember that we had we did the debt restructuring last year to allow for roughly $10 million of new borrowing in calendar year 2015 if you wanted to do that. So we wanted to get some instructions on whether to proceed or not with that. And then there was a very small bond issue at the VOTEC. You pay 45% or so of the debt service from the bond issue, and you'd get about 45% of the savings. It's only $100,000 or so, so it's not a big item, but you know, better than nothing. So those are the three things I wanted to talk to you about this evening. So everybody has a booklet? Okay. Why don't I just jump to page number 8. So this is what a refunding of the series of 2010 would look like based on today's interest rates. In column number 3, these would be the rates you could get to sell the bonds today. Over in the far right, this is how the savings would look. The savings could come in around at about $147,000. It would occur in the 15-16 school year. So basically all the savings would be set up front, plus or minus $1,000 or so in some of those out years in column number 10. That's how this would look. We're in a position, I think I was here several months ago and mentioned this, we had to wait because this bond issue has already used its one advance refunding, so if you authorize us to proceed, we could sell the bonds in about 2 months, and then that would be the earliest, so we'd be right on time to lock in those savings for your new budget year. Okay. Are there any questions on that one? And then if you turn to the next section on page 10, this might look familiar to some of you. So when we did the debt restructuring on page number 10, we did the restructuring was the red column. If you remember, we borrowed $10 million or so of new money. That was the green column. And in the orange column, we said this would leave the door open for you to come back and borrow new money if you needed it. If we do go ahead and issue the orange column in column 6, your debt service then would look like column number 7. So 7 is after, or assumes you would do the orange bond issue in this calendar year. You don't have to, depending on your project's need and whatnot. If we did, the point being that in column number 7, we would stay below $13,300,000. I think that was our target when we put all this together. So that plan is still intact, it's still available if you'd like to proceed. If you'd like to wait, that's fine too. You can come back and do it. It's not like it, goes away or something. So this option would be here later if you decide to wait. So, are there any questions?
Are the what is the interest rate market? I mean, is it still?
Interest rates are very, very low. About 10 days ago, the 10-year Treasury was down to a 160 again. Now it has since ratcheted up a little bit, but that's the lowest it's been, in the history of the 10-year Treasury or something. It's very, very low. Well, and you can see if you go to the next page, page 11, those are the interest rates we'd be projecting. I think you'd come in less than that. Your all-in cost of money would be probably, this shows 3%, but probably a little bit less than that. You do need to have reasonable expectations that you would spend the money within 3 years. So to the extent you have 10 million of new projects, there needs to be a reasonable expectation that you're going to spend the money in 3 years.
Timing for this, you said could be any time? Is that?
With respect to the new money, yes.
Okay.
We do need to separate the two bonds. If you decide you want to do both of them, we'd want to separate them by at least 15 days. Just for that way they're both bank qualified and we can get the shorter call feature for you.
Well, I assume board members wouldn't have a problem with the refinancing. I mean, we've done that. And you said that would be met, I'm sorry, what did you say?
Yeah, I think I have a little timeline here. The very last page. So this is, I'm looking at page 21 on the left. This is the timeline for the refunding option. We'd be looking for authorization to proceed whenever you're ready. April 13th would be the earliest we could have a bond sale. So if you authorize us to proceed, we'd sell the bonds around the middle of April. Closing would be the middle of May. And that's the rules are we can be no more than 90 days earlier than the call date, which is August the 15th. So that's how that timeline would work. With respect to the new money in the center section, we can do that, at your leisure. But again, we would need to just be mindful of being at least 15 days apart from the refunding bond issue, but any time. In the schedule we laid out there, that would give you funds for any summertime projects.
Well, I guess if board members want to do the refunding, we could put that on the February breakdown.
Glenn, on your timeline, you have February 12th authorized the financing team to proceed. If we move that to February 23rd, will that be?
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay, so we'll have that on the February 23rd board agenda. I think the new money, obviously, we got to wait a little bit here and see what our budget brings and the right.
Right. Well, currently, based on our current capital projects balance, we have pretty much enough funds to get us through this summer and 2016 again. Depending on what we do, we probably have a good deal of those, and hopefully we might be able to have some monies that we can transfer again next year over into capital projects. Hope that revenues come in a little bit better than what we're anticipating, but we do have enough monies to finish 15 and a good portion of 16.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Glenn.
The VOTEC?
Oh, the VOTEC.
Yeah. So the VOTEC, maybe if you flip to page 15. So on page 15, this is the full bond issue for the technical school. Column 3 are the old interest rates there, and column 7, 8, and 9. That's the share, your share along with the other two member districts. So on column number 8, down near the bottom in that shaded box, it says pro rata share. Your share is 46.85%. So when we go to the next page, it shows the savings. You're getting 46.85% of the savings. Okay. So that's on page 17. And what they're trying to do is go out and solicit bank proposals, which would make it simpler and a little more easy to work with. But in column number 8, this would be your share of the new payments, and down in that little box at the bottom, the yellow there, if you see that, assuming this comes in as planned, the total savings in column number 12 are $111,000, and in the little yellow box, your pro rata share would be $52,000. So, it's only a $2 million bond issue, which was larger. I think the JOC of the technical school had set a target of at least 2%. So we're about double that right now. In the lower right-hand corner, you see we're 3.9%. So the savings would occur in the current school year and in the new budget year that you're working on, And again, plus or minus $1,000 in those out years, then everything would be the same. So it'd be a one-time savings up front. And then the timing on this, again, if you go to that very last page again, because this has a different timeline. So on page 21 in the lower right-hand corner. So you're hearing this this evening. I think on February 19th, the JOC is going to approve an application to file with the State Public School Building Authority. At February 23rd, there would be the long debt resolution, 20, 30 pages, that you would need to approve. That would be not to exceed numbers. And the other 2 member districts would also be being asked to approve the same thing on or about then. March the 10th, the State Pub would approve the borrowing. And sometime after March 19th, then the actual interest rates would be locked in. Okay. So again, that would be, if things go according to plan, that would also be for your February 23rd meeting.
Just to note that the JOC has discussed this at our last board meeting, and in January, I believe all 3 member districts, as you have said, Mr. Willard, are intending to approve this. We would actually be the first, simply because of the timing of the board meetings among the 3 districts. And this is, I believe, only one of 2 bond issues at the vocational school, the other being the recent one that was passed between Quakertown and Pennridge, where Palisades actually funded through cash the renovation. This is pre-renovation monies that are now subject to this refinancing. So I would encourage the board to approve this on the February 23rd meeting.
Great.
That's it.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
for waiting. I appreciate that. Okay, the next item is our contracts for approval. There's only 4. The first one is for North Middle School to go to the for the Franklin Zoo Traveling Science Show. Any questions on that one? The second one is an emotional support class for a student. Okay, the third, it's for a Rams on the Ridge sponsorship. Do you want to say anything about that one, or just?
That's the one that I referred to, it would be the side entrance gate,
Okay.
and the contract is all there.
And I assume it's similar to the other?
Similar to the
The
structure
bank one.
of the bank one.
Yeah. And we never have here about solicitor review, is that, but you reviewed them?
He actually prepared them.
Okay, I guess that's close.
Yeah, that's better than reviewing. They're worked off his draft.
That's right. I prepared the form contribution agreements for the scoreboard, and then the second one, so I assume the district is using the same form.
Okay, that's good.
The short
enough.
answer is yes.
And then the fourth is the demographic study from the Pennsylvania Economy League, which we spoke, which Dr. Brevard spoke about last time. Is there anything you want to say about that, Dr. Brevard, or anything additional?
Yeah, this follows the discussion we had at the end of the board meeting to make sure that they will start their work now with looking at developments, projections, but the numbers that we will use will be this October 1st, 2015 student numbers, so you have 3 more years beyond that. So that's the way this is prepared.
Okay. Is there any specific questions about that one? Okay. The third item on the agenda, is that you, Kathy?
Actually, it's Mr. Toronto.
Mr. Torado, is the 2015 E-rate WAN wide area network proposal.
I have a presentation, but you're not going to see it. But it's in the link on the SharePoint. It's in there, and I'm just going to try to projector, so, and I apologize for my voice, I'm a little under the weather.
Is it on? Is your mic on? Is that on?
It's on now?
Oh, there you go. Just got to get close to it.
So now, I apologize for my voice, a little cold going on, and I can't get this thing on, let's see.
There it goes.
It goes? Oh, there it goes, okay. So, 5 years ago, the school district engaged in a contract with Comcast, and this is the contract that gives us the network transport between all our buildings to create the wide area network. 5 years ago, that contract was signed at 1 gig of speed. Let's call it 1 unit for purpose of the conversation. And that was signed back in February of 2010. That cost a month is $12,000 a month plus tax. The wide area network, this is just an illustration of the network. Every building has a link to a central location, and then from that location it goes to a data center, and then out to the BCIU, where we go out to the internet. So because of E-rate, E-rate, we're mandated to go out for bid every 5 years for this transport. And we've received 2 bids on December 23rd. We received the first one from Comcast Business. We asked them to give us a 3-year, a 5-year, and a 1 gig and a 10 gig transport. 5 years ago, 10 gig was not available. Now it's available. I'm going to assume like in the next 5 years, 100 gig will be available, and so on and so forth. So we looked at the bids that came in. Comcast, which is our current provider, came out at $14,157 for the same transport that we have now for a 5-year, which is about a $2,157 increase. On the 10 gig for 5 years, they came out at $92,565 a month. So that was a shock. I thought it was a typo. It's not a typo. It is the cost. So I went to the curriculum office and we analyzed our network, and we analyzed why or do we need a faster speed. Well, the way we are now, we're fine. We do not have applications that must talk between buildings. So to go to a 10 gig would be I cannot justify a 10 gig today. So we all agreed that a 1 gig is the way to go. However, we received a second bid, from a company called Synesis. And this company lays out fiber to our buildings, and they came out for a 5-year at 1 gig at the same price that Comcast has us today. So if we go with Synesis, it'll cost us the same, and we'll have the same speed. However, when I checked with Comcast and I asked them, so what happens if I want to go to the 10 gig within our 5-year contract? Well, in their contract, we have to buy out the contract. It was very convoluted. However, it will be, $92,000 anyway, but with Synesis, we can actually sign up for the 5-year, and at the 36-month time frame, we can actually go up to the 10 gig on their network, and it's about $800 more a month, something in that area, and we have to buy the equipment that connects us. The point is that this will be then a private network. We will not be on the Comcast infrastructure. They'll maintenance it. We don't have to do any of the maintenance for the same cost that we're paying now.